Hey, I'm Alex Ratcliffe from Board Game Co., and this is another 2022 list. If you're sick of these, I hear you. There've been a lot on my channel, there've been a lot on other channels. This is the point of time where everyone's going through all the things in 2022 that they want to talk about, and this is the 2022 games that I've played, but I need to play them more. These are all games that I actively need to play more. Many of these are games that are very strong potentials or candidates for my top 100 games of all time. In fact, one of them actually was in my top 100 games of all time. But these are all strong potential candidates for my top 100, but I need to play them more. I generally am not comfortable putting games in my top 100 when I've only played them like once or so, and most of these games are games I've played once. The one that made it to my top 100, we have a reason. We'll get to that soon. And if you are sick of 2022 lists, don't worry. In a week or two, we'll have like 2021 lists up on the channel as well, just to catch you all up there. Yes, it's that time of year. Sorry about that. But that said, if you're still here, thank you for tuning in for all the lists of games that we're going to talk about. And today, again, we're going through the 10 that I want to play. These are 2022 titles. I have played them, I've enjoyed them, and I need to play them more. Starting off with one that's in shrink. That's how far back this one is. We have Carnegie. Carnegie is going to be my number 10 over here, and this one's in shrink. And if you're like, well, I thought you played it, I did. I played the prototype of this when it was on crowdfunding, and I have not played it since. I have not played this version. I should de-shrink it at some point. I will. I really enjoyed this one by Xavier Georges, who's done Trois, Black Angel, Carson City, some amazing games that I've enjoyed. Haven't played Black Angel. I need to do so. I do own it. Have not gotten a table yet. But a whole bunch of great games, and his stuff, yeah, I like his stuff, and I liked Carnegie as well. Combine that with the fact that this one has landed and is getting a lot of rave reviews. Honestly, it's even on Board Game Arena in case you want to dive into it there. Carnegie is an excellent game that, well, at least it was excellent when I played it. It gave you a very solid train game, optimization game, which you had one player leading the action, the other player had to follow, and the way you built out your own tableau around it was very compelling. I played this multiple times. I just played the prototype and never played the final game. I need to dive into the final game. This is a great game, or at least it was when I played it. I'm very much looking forward to tabling this. This is my number 10, Carnegie. My number 9 is one that I want to play it more than Carnegie, but it may actually one day leave my collection without ever having played again. That's the sad reality of just what this game's player count requires. This is a game that I really enjoy, really liked it. Feed the Kraken, thoroughly enjoyable game. I don't know what's going to happen with this one. I don't know what's going to happen. What I do know is Feed the Kraken is a game. I believe it plays starting at 4, if I recall correctly. But 4 is not... Oh, no, the box says 5 to 11. I could have sworn there was a 4-player count. Maybe it was the 5-player count that was suboptimal. Feed the Kraken is a game that requires a higher player count to really thrive. And that's the problem with it. Because practically speaking, I don't have that player count very often. And when I do, other games are often played. This requires a very specific setup of people that before pandemic would have been hit all the time. We had a very active, thriving game group over here of a very large rotating cast of people that this would have been excellent for. Post-pandemic, my game group has shrunk. The people who come are different. The people who come are more regulars. Having 5 or 6 or 8 people who just show up one night is much more infrequent, to the point that I genuinely do not know if Feed the Kraken ever gets played. I'm holding on to it for now. It's good enough at what it does, it's accessible enough at what it does, and it has that hidden role, and it's short enough too. It plays in like roughly an hour, sometimes less, sometimes more. It is a great game. It is one of my favorite hidden role games. It's just hidden role games, I don't play them anymore. I have One Ultimate... Sorry about this. I have One Ultimate World. I have Resistance. I have Quest now. And those are 2 games I used to play all the time, and I don't play them anymore. And the reason they're still here and they're safe is they are small boxes that have proven their worth over time. Feed the Kraken, I've only really played it doing the Kickstarter campaign. Again, another prototype game over here. And I don't know if or when this will get played. It is 100% at risk, while also being a game that could well enter my top 100 if it had opportunity to get played enough. My number 9 is a 2-player game. This one's much easier to find as far as player count, and that's Pagan, Fate of Roanoke. This is the expansion in shrink because while grabbing boxes off my shelf, I couldn't find the base game. I'm 99% sure I didn't get rid of it. I'm 100% sure I didn't get rid of it. But Pagan, Fate of Roanoke is another one I played only doing the crowdfunding campaign. Some of these I have played since then, by the way. We'll talk about all of them as we go through it. But Pagan, Fate of Roanoke is a 2-player game of a witch and a witch hunter. You have the witch hunter trying to deduce who the witch is as you go through a hidden role game for 2 players that does work well. Again, I only played this once doing the crowdfunding campaign, played it online, had an absolute blast, and immediately backed the campaign because of it. I thought it was excellent, I thought it was unique, I thought it was different, I thought it was well done. It is a great 2-player hidden role game that just worked really well, and that's a hard genre to get right. Fugitive got it right, I think. Fugitive, a smaller box game from Four games, I believe. But Pagan Fate of Roanoke is a larger experience. It gives you a lot of things. It gives you a lot of variability. This is the expansion box over here. I'm really looking forward to actually tabling this one. And it's one that should be easy to table. My number 7 over here, 10, 9, 8. My number 7 is one that, again, only played this doing the campaign so far, but that's Fall of the Mountain King. This is another prototype I played, but this is actually better than that. This is a prototype that not only did I play it during the campaign, but I had it upside down. Not only did I play it during the campaign, but I also played it after the campaign with my prototype until I had to send it on. I really enjoyed this one from Burnt Island Games. It is arguably my favorite game from them. I don't think it's arguably. It's definitely my favorite game from Burnt Island Games, giving you excellent area control as well as a degree of powers and abilities with the various trolls you're trying to recruit. It's a ton of fun to go through, plays fairly quickly, and gives you a lot of ways to optimize the score, and a fun little card engine as far as how you overlay cards to get as many abilities as possible, get your most efficient actions as possible. Similar to in the Hall of Mountain King, there's 2 games. There's the core map, and there's the mini game that drives your action economy, and I like both of those aspects in Fall of the Mountain King. I just need to get it played. It plays well at 3 players, plays well at 4, plays well at 5. It's one that should be easy to table. I just haven't tabled it yet. My number 6. I always lose track of it. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. My number 6 is another one that I've only played online. I shouldn't say another one. It's one I've only played online, which is why this one isn't Shrink. I actually only just picked this copy up like a week ago, so I have time on this one. I have not been slacking. I just only played it online until picking this up last week. This is Marrakesh from Stefan Feld from the Queen Game City Collection, and it was an excellent Stefan Feld game. The one game of it I played was very ambitious in terms of what it's getting done. There's a lot of things going on in Marrakesh. It may well be one of the more complex Stefan Feld games I have played as far as just how much is happening in the game, but what I did see happening was very compelling. There's multiple aspects to the districts in your city. There's a giant tower. As you drop different things down to the tower, try to earn the things you need and place them down in different districts. It was very, very well done as far as feeling Stefan Feldian, but also Stefan Feldian, while also feeling different enough that I'm intrigued. I mean, Stefan Feld games for me have always been a hit. I've enjoyed nearly everything he has put out. The only question generally is, do I enjoy it enough that it's in that top echelon that I end up keeping? Games like Bora Bora, like House of Burgundy, like Bruges, like the Oracle of Delphi. He has 5 or 6 games I keep at any given time, and the rest of them I all like. Some of them make it, some of them don't. I instinctively believe from my one play that Marrakesh will make it. Now I just need to play it more to determine whether that's actually the case or not. My number 5. This time I actually went straight to 5. I actually knew the number this time. Now, my number 5 is the first of these I actually have played. I played it both during the Kickstarter campaign as well, or GameFound campaign, I should say. I played it both during the GameFound campaign as well as after the fact. I have dove into this one time since getting it, and this is Skyrim, the adventure game from Modiphius Entertainment. I really enjoy this game. This game is one that I, doing the crowdfunding campaign when I covered it, I did a little review without the game because I only played it online, but I played through the entire scenario they had online, and that one was one that I said, I titled my review Just One More Turn, because it had that mechanic to it. It had this aspect that as you played through it, you wanted to do just one more turn. You wanted to get just one more thing done, just one more side quest, just one more step. It frequently felt like, I'm just going to do one more thing. It's the kind of game where I played like a 2.5 hour session in one shot because I planned on breaking it up and saving my TTS mod and doing whatever, and I don't love playing games on the computer too. It's worth knowing that as well. I do not love playing games on a computer. I find that it's okay, I tolerate it, but usually I would rather break it up. But I just kept wanting to do just one more thing. Playing board games on the computer is what I mean. Playing video games on the computer is fine. Playing board games on the computer, I'd rather play them on the tabletop. But I had just one more turn, and eventually just went through the whole thing because it was so satisfying to do so. I dove back into the tutorial to refresh myself, to remind myself what it was, and again, it had that aspect, and I was sad when the tutorial ended, and now I'm excited and ready to dive into it. The only hesitancy on this one is this is one of those campaign games where I hope to be playing it over on our campaign game channel, Camp Co-op. I'll link to that down below if you want to see us playing through campaign games. That's where we're going to be doing that, and Skyrim will be making that list sooner or later. I'm hoping we finish Roleplay Adventures, and I'm hoping we get Skyrim next, but we'll see. But they will be played over there. I'm very excited for this one. It's a great game. I can absolutely see this making my way to the top 100. I'm not certain. There were elements of the game I didn't love. The combat I didn't love. But the sense of just what they captured in that, just wanting to take one more turn, that it worked well for me, and I'm very excited to dive back into it. My number 4. These are all large boxes, and I'm going to have to reach over and grab them all. My number 4 is another one that I have played. I played the actual physical game, not just TTS, not just prototype. I've played this since it arrived. This is Guards of Atlantis II, and this is the only one on the list that actually made my way into my top 100. And if you're like, Alex, how dare you put a game that you only played once into your top 100? I have 2 answers for you. The first is that I'll put whatever I want in the top 100. Sometimes a game I only played once could make its way into the top 100. It is less common and less likely, but I am willing to do it. If I like a game enough, I am absolutely willing to do it. But the other answer I'll give you is the fact that the reason I was willing to do so with Guardians of Atlantis is because I've played the original game multiple times. And Guardians of Atlantis 2 is just an iteration on that. Not just an iteration, there's a lot going on, but I already knew that I loved the original, and so moving to placing the second one into my top 100 after only one play was an easy move to make, just because it builds on that and I already know what I like over there. And so Guardians of Atlantis 2, I do want to play it a lot more. I think it does a lot of cool things. I think it's a great game as far as working together with teams. One of the downsides of it is you really want to have 4 players to have an optimal experience, 4 or more I should say, 4, 6, 8, all of that. I think 4 to 6 is pretty optimal, 4 or 6, not 4 to 6, because you're playing with teams over there, controlling the characters in this MOBA style game as you pick your heroes and try to upgrade and level up your characters as you take down others. It is very satisfying, very well done, a very clean system with a lot of ways to add extra things into it to mix it up to various degrees. I really enjoy Guardians of Atlantis 2. I just want to play Guardians of Atlantis 2 more than I have until now. My number 3 is one that I played online after the Kickstarter campaign and have not played it since. In fact, I haven't even assembled all the tiles since, and I need to do so, but I am very, very excited for it. You might be surprised that I'm more excited for it than many of these games, but I am, because the one play I had was so satisfying, and this is D.E.I. Divide et Impera from Ludus Magnus Studios. This was so enjoyable as far as the game went. I actually had a chance to play this both with a Discord and Patreon member, as well as with the designer himself, and going through this game, and I really enjoyed what it's doing. You see, the game works on many levels. That's not a interpretive thing. The game actually has multiple levels to it, as far as how the game system works, as far as the fact that you're doing area control, but you're going to have these bridges. So you have different levels of terrain that you're interacting with as you play through the experience, which just gives you a lot of things to think through and consider. It is conflict-driven, but not conflict-heavy, almost similar to Scythe in the sense that the threat of conflict is always there. How much you actually engage in conflict is a different conversation that time will tell depending on the game you're playing and what playstyle you're approaching. But it is mean and it is cutthroat, and you're constantly trying to take things from others, not necessarily through killing others, that happens a little bit, not that much, but more often just through the sheer area control of the game. I thought it was incredibly well done. I have the rulebook out, I'm re-diving into it to prep and learn. Playing with the designer does mean you don't really need to know the rules, you kind of need to know basically what's going on, and then he'll help guide you through anything you don't know. I need to actually learn the rules, I need to put together the tiles. This is definitely one I am very, very excited for. D.E.I. Divide et Impera. And my number 2 is one that I actually played the most from any game here. My number 2 is one that I debated putting in my top 100 because I played it the most of any game here, but also it's changed so much from the original prototype that I played to the fact that I wanted to play it again before putting in my top 100. So maybe in 2023 it'll be in my top 100. Ultimately, time will tell. But this is ISS Vanguard. The boxes are getting increasingly larger and more unwieldy, but ISS Vanguard from Awakened Realms, I've played this game for probably about 15 hours combined between all the games I played, between 2 different prototypes. I have put a ton of time into ISS Vanguard. Compared to any other game on this table, this one is absolutely worthy of being in my top 100. Now I just need to pull it out and actually play it again, which again, maybe will happen over on Camp Co-op. We'll see. I don't know the exact rules and things of what we get to at one point, but this absolutely could be a Camp Co-op style game. It is a campaign game. It is, again, Camp Co-op being a campaign playthrough channel, but this is a campaign game that I want to dive into. The only question I have is, do I dive into it solo to get it out of the way, to play it because I want to dive into it, or do I wait until it enters the campaign game queue and see if it gets tabled there? I don't have that answer. What I do know is I loved ISS Vanguard, and seeing the positive coverage, this is one of those things that as a content creator, as a reviewer I should say, as someone who slaps my opinion onto games publicly, there is always that nervousness when I like something and I wait to see if the world likes it too. Not that my opinion has to line up with others, it doesn't. At the end of the day, I'm allowed to like things that others don't and vice versa. But it is one of those things where, especially when you hype a game, especially when you're like, this was so much fun, there is that aspect of waiting for the pin to drop, waiting for a whole bunch of people to say, no it isn't, you were just hyped that you got to cover the prototype, which could be a thing, it absolutely could be a thing. And so it's exciting for me, it's nice to see, it's reaffirming for me when a game drops that I enjoyed and everyone's like, this is incredible. And people for the most part have really enjoyed ISS Vanguard. To be clear, by the way, this is not my favorite game of all time, not by a long shot. I really, really enjoyed it. This is one of the better narrative experiences I have played, and I would say that the feedback in general has actually probably been higher than how much I liked it, which is, again, nice to see. I like this game, I think it's excellent, I want to dive into it. It really gave me such a great, the ship phase in particular was the main part that I liked. As I sat there and tried to think through how to deal with all the things happening, how to upgrade my crew, it felt like playing Mass Effect, where upgrading is part of the game. Building up who you are, what you are, how you do things felt like a part of the game and did not just feel like homework. ISS Vanguard, a fantastic experience that I'm very much looking forward to dive into, which brings me to my number one, which is a game I've only played 1.5 times, and I really want to play it because I have the all-in and just the sheer amount of boxes I have. This is a game that needs to be tabled or needs to go away. And this, sorry as I desperately grab over here, is Massive Darkness 2 Hellscape. Let's put this back over here. Massive Darkness 2 Hellscape, let's put these boxes off the side, is another one that I think I just tossed all the miniatures on this side here because this box is only half empty because the other half's set up upstairs. So, yeah, that's stuff falling over. Massive Darkness 2 Hellscape from Command Games is I played Massive Darkness, so I know I like the original one. I know I like a lot of Command's titles, and I know this has powers and abilities and variable players and asymmetric powers and all the things that I should like, and the one game I played was enjoyable. For some reason, it hasn't gotten tabled. There are so many things trying to capture my attention at any given moment. Games that are campaign games, games that have, episodic missions, games that give you just single shot. There's so many great games. 2022 has been one of the better years of gaming for me in a while, I feel. I feel the amount of games I've enjoyed, the amount of games I thought 2021 was good. I thought 2020 was okay. I thought 2022 was excellent as far as the sheer amount of stuff that I am very excited about, very much enjoying, and haven't been able to play nearly as much as I want to, and that's the point of this list. I want to play Massive Darkness. I want to set it up. I want to table it. I want to pick a character. The one character I played so far, didn't love the shaman, didn't love the whole energy system with them, but I want to try other characters. I played with somebody else. There are other characters at play. I want to try the game. I want to see what the game has to offer. It's exactly the kind of game I enjoy, and I like the original. I still have all the original content. I don't think I need it. The amount of stuff, I'm never going to use the crossover pack. I'm never going to go through all the content. But for right now, we'll hold on to it. For right now, I'll still hold on to that hope. There are some games, few games, that I go through nearly everything. Zombicide Black Plague is one of them. Cthulhu Death May Die is one of them. There are some games where I actually go through all the content, and I'm holding on to Massive Darkness, the original, until I know for sure where this one settles. But I really want to get this one tabled. This is from all these games here, this is one of the ones that I want to table more. In any case, that's my list. These are my 2022 titles that I have not played enough. All of these I've played. All of these in some way have seen the table, whether before, after, doing the campaign, some way, shape, or form. I know I like these games. And if I play them more, they may show up in my top 100. Which also, by the way, means 10 games getting bumped from my top 100. That's just the way math works, although Feed the Kraken is probably the least likely to show up in my top 100, because I don't know if I'm ever going to play it. I want to, but we'll see. In any case, and until next time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. Let me know which one of these should be played first. Let me know your opinion on these games. If you've played them, if you've played any of them. D.E.I. in particular, I'm very intrigued by the general reception to D.E.I. That's one that probably didn't get as much buzz as many of these other ones, but I think it's really good. But if you've played any of these, if you want to play any of these, let me know in the comments down below. I'm always very curious what your opinion is. In any case, and until next time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. I hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, I hope you have a good one.